Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am your host, Kathy Blaze. We have one of Arizona's funny ladies, Miss Olga Godoy, also known as the Funny Bruja. Come on out, Olga. Hey there.
Hello.
Good to see you.
See you too.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, such a pleasure. One of Arizona's funny ladies.
Yes.
And you are. I've seen you out there. So, Olga, what is it like being a female comedian amongst all those men?
It is very, very difficult because you have this thing where I have to convince people that I'm actually funny. Because, the stigma that female comedians are not funny. But, I'm pretty funny. I'm pretty funny, so...
She's actually pretty funny.
I'm pretty funny. So.
You just go watch her. So, well, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. I really wanted you to be on this show and to talk about that. And being a Latina and a comedian. I mean, you have both of those things. Well, three. Latina, female, well, two. And do you find that because you're a Latina and a female, that both of those things make it hard for you?
Yes, actually, yes. One of the issues that I've came across was so being a Latina, it's like first female, not funny. Latina, oh, what are we expecting from her?
Right.
What is her style of comedy?
Right.
So it's like I had to convince everyone and kind of earn my spot in the Arizona comedy industry. So,
do you create content that Olga wants to share, or is it content that you feel people want Olga to share?
Well, I create content that Olga wants to share.
Okay.
So I feel like every comedian has their own personality, their own style of comedy, and that's what makes them unique.
Right.
That's what makes really different, because imagine if everyone did the same style of comedy and it's like, oh, okay, but no, it's my content, it's my upbringing, which the majority of people here relate to. So that's...
So do you, what is your style? How would you describe your style?
So when you go to one of my shows, I put you in shock. So you're like, you're shocked of what I'm saying, but then you laugh. Because it's okay to laugh,
Yes, it is.
You're turning whatever life you had into laughter. And I think that's the best way. It's very therapeutic for me. So you would call it dark humor.
Right. You're a mother.
Yes.
And is it okay for me to share your other profession?
Yes.
You're a nurse?
Yes.
Okay. Do you find yourself being the funny person at home with your children and possibly at work at times?
I am definitely the troublemaker at work. It's a serious environment to work on. Yeah. But the reality is I'm one of the nurses that is like, okay, I'm making my patient happy. Yeah. I'm making them laugh. At home, no, I cannot be funny because I have kids that are 20 and 16 and they're whatever is funny to them is not funny to me or whatever. See, I am not in their level of funny, so I am not
Mom,
funny
to
my
cool.
kids. I am not cool. So.
Right, that's what they think of us. We're not cool.
Yeah, never.
So what was it that got you into that industry?
Well, I always knew I was funny. I was always been like the troublemaker or the class clown or whatever you want to call it. I always been different in that, I always laughed at everything. When people were like serious about situations, I'd bust out with a a bad joke at the bad time, I guess. And once I got separated, I started finding myself, and then I found comedy, and I was like, wait, I could do this. Like, this is me right here. Like, everything related to comedy with videos and everything, I expressed myself, and that's how I came. And I was like,
Well,
oh, I like
you
it.
know what I find, and this is just from family members, that people that are height challenged, they either are funny or they are the mean one. Do you think being a tiny little one took place? Any of that was a part of that?
Yeah, I think I'm both. I think I'm pretty mean and pretty funny.
A mean, funny girl.
Yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. I also noticed that I mean, other than being on stand up on the stage, you do a lot of content on social media.
Yes.
Which is very interesting. I've seen a lot of your work. And you don't only just do it about Olga. You bring in some of your friends with you to share in on that.
Yes.
So how has that experience been for you?
So it's something I always wanted to do. It was just very hard to find like the perfect group of people that wanted it as bad as I did. So I came across these wonderful comedians, and we've been working together. And oh my goodness, it's been fun. And yeah, editing is one of my passions, and I'm just like creating content, comedy, and it's just it's amazing to have an idea and then bring it to life.
Right.
And then you have these talented comedians that are helping.
Do you feel that that's helping your stand up, or your stand up is helping it?
Yes. So one of the things when I started comedy and the whole pandemic started, a lot of us comedians slowed down because obviously the pandemic, there was shut everywhere. We couldn't do comedy.
Right.
So I always knew like, hey, everyone's on their phones at this time. You know, you create content, you get to, everybody's going to see you.
Right.
You get more views of a video than actually doing a stand-up show.
Right.
So I always believed, I was very, very strong about that, and nobody was listening to me. And then I started creating videos, and they started seeing, oh, she's being recognized places.
Right.
And it's like, hey, it's social media. It's your best friend when you're in the entertainment business.
Well, you know what? And you said the right word there, business.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing that you have to remember, no matter what industry you're in, that it's a business.
Yeah.
And you're your product, and you're putting it out there for the world to see what you can do.
Yep.
So do you run into cases where you feel that people don't treat it as a business?
Yes, I do. Sometimes I feel like they do not sell themselves. Sometimes I feel like they're doing it as a hobby, even though I've seen comedians that are so talented, and I'm like, why are you not to the next level, But because they don't see it as a business.
They just see it as a hobby.
Something
or fun that they like doing.
Yeah, and they have so much potential. And can you imagine if you actually did this? This is what you love to do, and you're doing it, and you're getting actually paid for it. That's like the best thing.
Right.
So.
And how long have you been in the industry?
3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you would think you were in there longer.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't want to be in, and the majority of the comedians around here, they're like, I've been doing it for 8, 10 years, 12 years. Why are you doing it for this long and still here in Arizona? Still doing open mics, still doing these shows.
Still at the same place.
Yeah, so it's just like, to me, it's like, I don't want to be one of those comedians that are going to be doing this for 8 to 10, 12 years.
Oh, okay.
And still not move forward,
So, growing up, you always knew you were funny. Was there someone that inspired you, a celebrity comedian? I don't want to put you on the spot, but who were some of your favorite comedians?
Well, growing up, my parents raised me in actually just watching Spanish TV. Mm-hmm. So definitely grew up with a lot of characters, some very funny characters. And growing up, I kind of picked up some of those characters, and I was like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And now that I'm older, I was like, and I started seeing Tiffany Haddish. She's one of my best.
She's funny as heck.
I feel like me and her, we kind of relate a lot in our upbringing, and I feel like if she did it, I can do it. So.
Right.
And she's funny.
She is very
funny.
So, where do you see comedy taking you? Where do you see getting from where you are now? Where do you want to be, say, in 2 years?
2 years. My goal for 2 years. I really thought about 2 years, but I know that I want to be doing big things already. Like I already have a fan base. I already
Mm-hmm.
big following,
Yeah.
and when I do shows, I always sold out. My shows are
Mm-hmm.
sold out, so I know that I'm destined to do bigger things,
Yeah.
and I just want to have like. My thing is like I've done shows in all the comedy clubs around here, but I want to be able to do a show and be like, I'm the headliner.
The funny bruja. Where'd that name come from?
Oh, great question. I get asked this all the time. Okay, so when I was a little girl, they used to always call me bruja, and because I apparently look like a little witch. I had the curly hair. Well, right now it's not
Oh.
curly, but I have the big poofy
Oh.
black curly hair, the big nose, and and the things that I would do, they're like, "You're a little witch, you're brujita,
Oh.
brujita." And so when I did comedy, I was like, you know what? There is no unique name, funny bruja. There's nobody has that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a funny witch. I'm not a real.
Right.
I'm a funny one.
And you've been called that all your life, so you might as well use it, huh?
Yeah. So
That's cute. Oh, calling a little kid a funny witch. I mean, a witch, little witch.
yeah, very dark. It goes with everything. I
Yeah.
mean, my dark humor, and then
Mm.
I'm always like dressed in black, I guess you could say. So it's perfect.
Do you find yourself wearing black all the time when you're performing?
Yes.
Yes.
Or sometimes I'll wear dresses, but it has to be like green, earthy colors. But the majority of the times, I'm always in black.
Tell me about one of your favorite performances.
Oh my goodness. So it was at Stir Crazy Comedy Club, and we were doing. It was part 3 of Latin Laughs,
Oh, okay.
and I was put on the show last minute, and I never imagined that so many people were going to show up for me last minute. Like I just posted, and I just felt the love from the audience, and it was nonstop laughing as soon as I got on stage, and I just felt I was like, this is like what I was meant to do. So.
And I would imagine, I mean, not that it makes a difference, a comedian is comedian, but it's probably nice for, you have an audience full of women to see a female up there doing what those guys do. I imagine that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
So that may be one of the reasons why you get so many accolades while you're up there, other than being funny. Well, she's funny, but she's cute too.
Yeah. What's great about that, I have a big fan base of females, and I love the fact that after a show they come up to me like, oh my goodness, like you were so funny.
Yeah.
Everything you said is like what I went through when I was a kid. So it's nice to not just be that female comedian that, oh my goodness, she's a female and only guys like her because she's a female. No,
right.
I have a female fan base, and I'm very respected in that.
And a lot of that comes across is the way you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they probably feel like they can come up and talk to you. You make them feel like you're open. You can tell when someone really don't want to talk to you, or they're not really open to their fans or people that are on stage. So, how? I'm trying to think of what I want to say here. I just lost train of thought here. As funny bruja, how do you separate her from Olga?
Good question. So obviously Olga, it's like I have my profession, I'm a mom. But when I'm on stage, it's like I forget that I even have kids. I forget that what I do for a job, and I'm just out there to make a fool out of myself. Like I'm not embarrassed to look, ridiculous on stage, or sometimes like I'll get on the floor. Like it's like, I guess you could say that's my alter ego.
Yeah, because you know what, you've watched some comedians and you see them do some of the outlandish things, and you're like, I mean, what would make a grown up want to do that? But that's a part of acting and performing. Yes. Is that, as one of my coaches said, you go back to being a kid and you have fun and you're letting loose. So you're really getting into character and letting loose and being funny bruja.
Well, I feel that once I'm up there, I'm an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want to be one of those comedians that is just like, oh, just saying things. No, like I'm gonna act it out. I'm gonna give them a
Right.
show, and they're gonna laugh whether I'm funny or I'm funny looking or I'm doing something funny.
Right. Have you
You
ever
know.
had a moment where someone didn't, oh, you didn't feel like you captured that audience? And if so, how did you turn that around?
Uh, yeah. I'll sometimes I'll have people that don't ever sit in the front of a comedy show. So that's the number one rule. And there was this person sitting in the front, and he was not laughing.
Oh,
So I picked on him.
we were talking about that with my crew
So I picked on him, and yeah, that's how I do it. Like I'll
because he
pick
was
on
sitting there
you.
all stuffy. Why you come to a comedy show to sit there all stuffy?
Yeah.
Maybe
So.
he's just not a big laugher. He laughing on the inside.
And then the guy after the show comes up to me and he's like, you made me feel really special. He's like, dumb but special.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes, people, they feel, I don't know. I was just saying, for example, when I used to go to comedy shows, and if somebody would have picked on me, I would have felt like, oh my goodness, they chose me.
Right.
So it's like now, like, oh, I'm picking you.
And you know what? He
feel
may have been
special.
sitting there all chill, not realizing how he was looking, just relaxed, probably done had a couple of drinks
Yeah.
and just enjoying funny bruja. And you picked on him.
Yeah. I'm always going to do that. I'm always going to, don't sit in the front. Never.
So you're doing stand-up, open mics, and your big dream is to leave Arizona, be on bigger stages, and what else is it that as a comedian, what is that next level for you other than just saying leaving Arizona and going to another stage? What is that ultimate for you?
Well, I feel like once you have, and it might sound kind of bad, but I feel like as a comedian, and once you make it big, you have some type of power, and I want to be able to use that power to uplift other women,
Okay.
to do what they love. Like I feel like a lot of the times we forget that we have dreams, that we have some type, passion for something, and we just want to be moms, I guess, or just like, and I just want to have that stage and be like, hey, you can do it too.
Oh.
If I did it, you can do it. Because I'm not only a Latina and a female comedian, I'm also an immigrant,
Okay.
So I'm under the DACA, Defer Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Oh.
So if I'm able to do all this just with that, imagine.
Thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I wish you all the best because I know you first is putting it up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking those steps to do it, and you're already taking those steps.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about your children. What are their thoughts of mom in this comedy thing that she's doing?
Oh my goodness. So like I said, I'm not funny for them at all. I'm just like, I'm just mom to them. So they can't see me outside of just being mom. So, but they're very proud of me though. They have supported me in shows. And they're like, oh, you were the funniest. And then I'll be like, oh my goodness, you guys thought I was funny? And they're like, yeah, don't get too happy. You were funnier than the rest, but that's it. They'll shut me down real quick. But yeah, they're not that happy about it, but they're happy for me.
So you have a lot of jobs, roles that you play. How do you come up with your content? I mean,
on stand-up or on videos?
Well, let's say videos, because you spend a lot of time with that.
It's definitely a lot of time. So I don't know. I'll just have ideas, and then it's just I figure out a way to bring them to life, so that they're like social media friendly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I want to go above and beyond, but I'm like, okay, no, we're gonna get bad. I need to tone it down. But yeah, it's just like normal things.
Do you have signature jokes?
Signature jokes?
Yes, one that you keep in the book that you may use at different places.
I don't know.
Or do they change every performance?
No, they don't change in every performance, but I feel like the majority of my jokes are kind of storytelling, so it's not like one short little thing.
Oh, okay.
But I'm very well known for my dark humor.
Okay.
And parenting. So yeah.
So what's next for Olga? You have a performance coming up?
Yes, I have a performance, stand-up show July 15th at the Horny Toad, 9 p.m.
And that's where?
It's in Glendale.
Glendale, Arizona, baby.
Glendale, Arizona.
Oh, okay,
yes.
where can our audience find you?
All social media, Funny Bruja.
Funny Bruja.
Yes.
Yes, you can. That's where I find it every day on social media.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
to
having
share
me.
you with our audience and let them know how funny you are, and they better get to know who you are.
Yes.
Because once you leave Arizona and hit it big, you ain't coming back, no.
Not coming back ever. I'm just kidding. No.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. And thank you for joining us here at Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.